Hey class, welcome back to music. Today we are going to focus on the different notes and rests, the values of the notes, by which I mean the numbers of beats that they get, and the names of the notes and rests. Today we're not going to focus on all of the notes and rests, but we are going to focus on specific ones. So let's start today with this note. Can you tell me what note this is? By now you should already know that this is a whole note, okay? The whole note looks exactly like what it's called, a whole. It has no stem on either side, it's just an open hole. So you know that is the whole note. Okay, how many beats does the whole note get? It gets 4 counts. Okay, now remember every note has a rest to go along with it. So for the whole rest, think about what it looks like before I put it up. Okay, so that's the whole rest. Okay, it looks like an upside down hat, which kind of creates a hole in it, right? If you're walking on the top of the hat, you could fall right down into the middle of the hat, as if there's a hole there. That is the whole rest. Okay, so make sure that you know that a whole note and a whole rest each get 4 beats. You clap or play on a whole note and you take a 4-beat break for a whole rest. So you take a rest, you don't play on a whole rest. Okay, so now I want you to look at this note. Think about what it is. Okay, by now you should already know what it's called. This is a half note. Okay, a half note is worth 2 beats. Now, I want you now to think about what the half rest looks like. Okay, now this is a half rest. So it looks like a top hat. The half rest also gets 2 beats, but of course you don't play on a rest, so you're going to rest, you're going to take a break for 2 beats. This is the half rest. Okay, so we now know that the half note and the half rest both equal to 2 beats. Now I want you to look at this note. Okay, I want you to think about what note this is, what it's called. Okay, by now you should know that this is the quarter note. Now, the quarter note is worth 1 beat. Okay, now I want you to think about what the quarter rest looks like. And this is the quarter rest. Okay, so the quarter rest, you should know now that it is worth 1 beat, just like the quarter note. Except we don't play on a quarter rest, we just take a break, we rest. Okay, so I have one more note, and that would be the, have you guessed it yet? It's called an 8th note. Now, an 8th note looks like this, and it is worth half a beat. Now, if the 8th note is worth only half of 1 beat, how many 8th notes do I need in order to make 1 full beat? Okay, think of it. Think of it as if I had a friend beside me and I had 1 pizza. So what could I possibly do so that I could have some pizza and my friend here could have some pizza? I could split it in half. So I have only half of the pizza and my friend has the other half of the pizza. Together it equals 1 pizza, 1 beat. Split in half, I only have an 8th note and my friend has the other 8th note. So I need 2 8th notes in order to create 1. Alright, so that looks like this. So these are 8th notes. However, those are 2/8 notes. So with 2/8 notes, it's not worth half a beat anymore. It's worth, you got it? Before I say, I just want you to think about it. It's worth 1 beat. Okay. So when you see this, it's worth 1 beat. But when you see it written like the 8th note written like this, then you know that it is worth half of a beat. Now, again, every note has a rest. So this is the 8th rest, which means you would rest for half a beat. Now, the 8th note could be pretty confusing for some people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play just a little lesson. I want you to pay attention to it, which will further explain the 8th notes.
What could be less than 1 beat long? 0 beats long? Well, if something is 0 beats long, it wouldn't even exist. No, we're going to learn about some notes that last exactly half as long as a quarter note. We call these notes 8th notes, and each 8th note is 1/2 of a beat long. Now, how on earth do you count half of a beat? Well, it might be easier to think of it this way. It would take 2 8th notes put together to equal the same length as 1 quarter note. If we divide 1 beat equally into 2 parts, we'll know how long our 8th notes should be. Because you can put 2 8th notes together to equal 1 beat, they are often found in pairs, and they look like this. They are connected together by a single beam, but they are actually 2 separate notes. Let's see if counting out loud can help us figure this out. I'll switch on my metronome here to keep a steady beat. Now I'll say ta along with each beat. Ta, 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 ta. Nothing new here. We know how to count quarter notes already. Count some along with me. 1, 2, ready, say. Ta, 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 ta. Now we'll switch to our new notes, 8th notes. We have to count 2 8th notes to each beat, so we'll be counting faster this time. Listen how I separate each beat into 2 parts by counting ti-ti to each tick of the metronome. Ti-ti, 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 ti-ti. Each T is the start of a new 8th note. Try counting some along with me. 1, 2, ready, say. Ti-ti, 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 ti-ti. Now let's get ready to try tapping an actual rhythm that combines quarter notes and 8th notes. First, we better think how we're going to count this rhythm out loud. We'll say ta for each quarter note and ti-ti for the pair of 8th notes. The rhythm will sound like this. Ta, ta, ti-ti, ta. Listen to me play it for you. 1, 2, ready, listen. Now you try tapping this rhythm. I recommend you say the rhythm out loud, ta, ta, ti-ti, ta, as you tap. Get ready. 1, 2, ready, play. You played that rhythm quite well. Good work. Let's try one more. How are you going to count this rhythm out loud? What will you say? Saying ti-ti for the 8th notes and ta for the quarter notes will give us this rhythm. Ti-ti-ta, ti-ti-ta. Listen as I play it for you. 1, 2, ready, listen.
So that was just a little bit more about the eighth note. And once again, it is worth half of a beat. If you have two connected by a beam, then it equals 1 beat. So what we're going to do now is I want you to take a look at the board, take a look at this chart with all the notes that we're going to be focusing on today, the notes and rests. And I want you to take one more look, and we're going to do a practice quiz. You will have a timer going, and you're going to have to answer the questions within that time. Okay, so this one's just a practice, but I want you to be able to do it just by memorizing the values or the numbers of beats that each note and rest is worth. Okay? Good luck. how did you guys do? I hope you guys did well. That was just a practice. However, what I want you to do now is you're going to go back to the Google Classroom, and in there, there's a link to an actual quiz. And I want you to go ahead and click on that link, and you're going to do that quiz. All right? Good luck. And when you actually finish the quiz, at the end of the quiz, it's going to give you your results. On the top, it will say summary. Okay, I want you to take a picture of that page. It looks something like this. Take a photo of that, and I want you to submit that into that photo into the Google Classroom. Okay, that's what you're going to submit to me. Make sure that you also include in your comments, include your name, the student's name, because in a lot of the classrooms, I'm seeing a lot of parents' names, and I don't want to get your name confused. So if you just make sure you include your name. Anytime you submit anything in the Google Classroom, put your name as well, include your name. Even if it's just writing me a comment saying, yes, this is Sarah, this is Jason, whatever. Okay, make sure you do that. It's very important. All right, so good luck, and I will see you guys on Zoom, or I'll see you next week. Take care.